All right, so today we are diving into The Vision Advantage.
Ooh.
This is a book that you had mentioned to me that you were interested in, and of course I went and checked it out.
Yeah.
And it's all about how having a vision can really be a total game changer for you.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about this book is that it's not just for like CEOs or,
Yeah.
major companies.
Yeah.
It really gets into how our brains work. It
Yeah.
gets into a little bit of neuroscience and psychology, which is really fascinating.
Yeah, so our mission today is to really unearth all of the gems from this book and like figure out how we can make them work for like you, the listener.
Yeah,
So,
because this book's main argument is that we're in a crisis of vision. And I think that's, especially relevant today when you think about the Great Resignation, quiet quitting, all that stuff going on.
right, and how many companies are just really struggling because they've lost sight of their why,
Right.
their bigger purpose.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
we're seeing that more and more
Yeah.
with employees wanting to work for companies that have a soul, that have a purpose.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not just about a paycheck anymore.
Right. It's so important to attract the right talent, especially now in such a competitive job market.
Absolutely.
But this book also gets into the how do our brains even like come up with these
Yeah.
visions?
And this is where the neuroscience comes in.
Okay.
Um,
Mm.
the author talks about this idea of mental synthesis, which is basically how our brains take existing knowledge and kind of like remix it to imagine new possibilities.
Okay.
And the book argues that if we can master this thinking in time,
Okay.
looking at the past, understanding the present, and envisioning the future,
Yeah.
that's when we can really make powerful decisions.
So it's not just like daydreaming, it's more about
Right.
like strategically using our brains.
Active. It's an
Uh-huh.
active process.
Got it.
And he gives this really cool example of this blueberry farmer in Florida.
Oh yeah. Didn't he like crack the code to like supercharge blueberry production?
Yeah.
Like some special fertilizer or something?
No, it was actually combining traditional farming methods with factory-style efficiency.
Oh.
It took him years
Yeah.
of experimenting, but he had this vision,
Yeah.
and he completely revolutionized the industry.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's really about anticipating the future,
Yes.
not just reacting to it.
Exactly.
So how do we even begin to tap into that kind of thinking?
Well, the book suggests that we learn from the best.
Okay.
And by that, he means looking at Fortune 100 companies.
Okay.
He actually analyzed their vision statement
Ah.
and found some really fascinating themes.
Okay, so spill the tea. What are the secrets of the Fortune 100?
So these Fortune 100 companies are kind of like the rock stars of the business world, right?
Right, they figured something out.
Yeah. So what makes their vision so powerful?
Okay.
Well, the author breaks it down into 5 key themes.
Get me?
And the first one is all about purpose. Like, what is their bigger why beyond just making money?
Okay.
And they give the example of Starbucks.
Okay.
Like, they're not just selling coffee.
Right.
They want to be that third place between work and home.
Yeah, like a sense of community.
Exactly. And that's what really draws people in.
Makes sense.
Okay, so theme number 2 is all about walking the talk.
Okay, so like integrity.
Yeah, it's about having strong norms and values that guide everything they do.
So it's not just what they do, but how they do it.
Exactly. Then the third theme gets into the core tasks. Like, what are the fundamental things that this company does really well?
Right, because you can't be everything to everyone.
Exactly. You got to focus on your strengths.
Okay, because...
And the book really emphasizes that, like, don't get distracted by every shiny object out there.
Stay in your lane.
Yes.
Love it. What's next?
All right. Theme number 4 might seem obvious, but it's location.
Oh, right, because where you are matters.
It matters a lot, whether it's a physical location or even like a virtual space.
Yeah, like Silicon Valley for tech.
Exactly. And then finally, we come to identity,
Okay.
their image.
Yeah,
How do they want the world to see them?
like their brand personality.
Exactly. And the book argues that a really strong, unique identity
Yeah.
is crucial for building a loyal following and ultimately being successful.
Makes sense.
And the coolest thing is this book, it doesn't just like throw these themes at you.
Okay.
It actually gives you all these real world examples.
Okay. Like who?
Like Lego,
Okay.
Kodak, even Enron.
Oh, man, Enron, that's a wild one.
Right.
Didn't they, like, completely implode?
They did.
Did their vision, like, play a role in that whole mess?
It's a perfect example of what happens when your vision and your values are totally misaligned.
So you're saying it's not enough to just have a vision?
Yeah.
You got to actually live it.
You have to walk the talk.
Okay, walk the talk.
I like that.
And then there's the Kodak story.
Oh, yeah. What about them?
So they actually invented the digital camera,
No way.
but they were so stuck in their ways.
Because they were all about film.
Exactly. They missed the boat completely.
Wow. Talk about a missed opportunity. Right. And it all comes back to having that vision,
Yeah.
that ability to anticipate the future.
Okay, so we've talked about these Fortune 500 companies,
Yeah.
but how can our listeners actually use this information?
Right. Let's get practical.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is this book lays out a really clear process
Okay.
for creating a vision.
Okay, I'm ready. It's step one. Okay,
Okay.
so we're talking about building a vision, right?
Yes. Building that roadmap to the future.
And we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
Like, we talked about why it's so important.
Yeah.
And we even got a sneak peek at how those Fortune 500 companies do it.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
But now I want to know, like, how can our listeners actually create their own vision?
Right. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay, so what's the secret sauce? What's the recipe? Well, before we get to the actual steps,
Okay.
the book actually starts with the author's own journey with vision.
Oh, I love that. I love when authors get personal.
Yeah. It makes it more relatable, right?
Totally.
So the author actually has a really interesting background.
Okay.
He was a military strategist.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking like high stakes decisions.
High stakes.
Yeah.
He worked in places like Iraq, Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back down to earth.
Yes.
What are the top takeaways from the vision advantage that our listeners can use?
Okay, so if I had to summarize the book's wisdom,
Yeah.
I'd say there are 4 key principles.
Okay, I'm ready.
Number 1, embrace a growth mindset.
Oh, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, it's about being open to learning and adapting.
Okay, number 2.
Cultivate faith and gratitude.
Okay.
Believe in your vision.
Yeah.
Trust the process and appreciate everyone who's supporting it.
So confidence and humility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And gratitude is so important. It can really keep you going when things get tough.
Okay, what's next?
Take focused action.
Okay, so put in the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just dream it. You got to do it.
Love that. Mm.
Okay, last one.
Invest time in your vision.
Yeah.
This isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing journey.
Yeah, you got to nurture it.
Exactly.
It's like we were saying about having a garden. You have to tend to it.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, so before we wrap up,
Yes.
I want to touch on that abundance mindset thing again.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
Can you remind us what that's all about?
So it's about challenging that idea of scarcity,
Okay.
that belief that there's not enough to go around.
Yeah, like a limited pie.
Exactly. The book encourages us to believe that there's enough opportunity for everyone.
Okay, so it's about collaboration over competition.
Exactly. It's a shift in perspective. I like it. It's about expanding the pie instead of just fighting over the crumbs.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
So to our listeners out there, embrace that abundance mindset, dream big, and use these tools from the Vision Advantage to make it happen.
Yeah, the world needs your vision.
Absolutely. So keep dreaming, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.
See you then.